world of legendary moments will be captured. So stand up, scream, and make sure the boys feel you.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
My home team, my loyalty, I'm at Uptown Royalty. We fight for all the...
Oh, there you go. I was wondering what was going on with that thing.
Yeah, I'm restarting. Sorry. Hopefully it's better now. It says excellent, so everybody's pissed off in my house because, you know, I got literally 5 people feel the need to stream. What's going on, everybody? We are back. Let me know that you can hear me just fine. Hopefully we are good. The stream is acting up. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I know when the weather's bad, this kind of stuff is what happens. So, again, let's restart. I see we got Chris May in here. We got Rob A. What's going on? Hey.
Hey, rumors, man. Rumors.
A whole lot of them.
Higgins. Of a T. Higgins.
And then saying poor again,
Yeah,
so I don't know
really
what's going on.
But it looks like Brandon Cooks would be the odd man out if you were going to do something.
You think? Is that what you think?
That's me. What I would think, unless if you're thinking they would go in more of a wanting to go to a 3 wide receiver.
Thanks, JoJo. I appreciate it. I don't really know what's going on.
But Mark been talking about that quite a bit. So
yeah, I don't know about the whole T. Higgins. I do know Dallas is bringing in Justin Simmons and Michael Thomas supposedly Friday for a workout. We shall see exactly what that's all about. Hopefully everybody can see me well. We got bad weather rolling in. We got people upset upstairs because I told them to hold off on the streaming. I don't know what's going on. It literally was fine. Chris, I'm just going to let you know. I'm putting your name in. You gave me a $2 super chat the other day, so you are in the hopper. You are in the hopper.
Don't worry about that, though.
Nah, I always do that. I just want to make sure you know. So what's going on, boys? How are you?
Good. Just trying to stay cool out here in Denver.
Yeah, it was warm today, man. I was trying to get a day off and do what I got to do, but didn't work out. I got called into work. They asked me. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll work. So is the stream okay, everybody? Please let me know if the stream it still says poor on my end, but I don't know if it is poor or you can hear me or you cannot hear me. So let me know, please. Hopefully it's better, but it is what it is. So, So, Rob, what do you got for me tonight? I mean, I have a list of Dallas stuff, but we'll start off with some Eagles stuff. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
No, actually, it seems like there's a lot going on there in Dallas, so I don't have really too much Eagles talk. I mean, I think that
or we could talk Hard Knocks.
That's exactly where I was going to segue to. I think Hard Knocks was pretty good last night to kind of see the reaction and everything going on with the GM and of course the owner. So that was kind of interesting. But they didn't fret too long. I mean, they just kept, it was business as usual. They went out and signed their guys, got Burns, and I think I was expecting a little bit more of a reaction, but I thought the Giants handled it well.
I enjoy watching that stuff. Joe Shane, I wanted to get a Chris May and Wade Walker. I wanted to get his opinion on, isn't it nice when you have a GM that can sit in the back and go, okay, we got this much to spend. We're gonna try and get this guy. This is literally the first day of legal tampering, which is basically the free agency period. Isn't it nice to be able to have an ownership that's willing to at least try to go into free agency? It was nice. I mean, Chris, did you watch it at all?
No, I didn't. I was busy.
But Rob, you saw it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
Actually, I watched it last
now
night.
you're an
today.
Eagle fan, so your owner does do that. But Wade knows whenever he's like ready to talk.
I'm here.
Oh yeah, did you watch Hard Knocks?
Nice.
No, I mean I seen episode 1, and I mean they
Yeah.
were already talking about what to do, and
Well, what happened
know-
was last night was episode 3. Basically, it left off where it was started the first day of legal tampering. Basically, free agency starting. The phones are going. GMs are in their office fielding phone calls, and they literally showed the Giants wishing, who they want and at what price. They're not going to go past each price, and they really spelled it out pretty cool. They're like, wow. Like we want Devin Singletary at this number. We want to bring back the safety at this number. We Saquon at this number. And it was just nice knowing that they were willing to spend money. Whereas, Dallas wasn't even in the office that day. They were probably on the yacht. They had no intentions of doing nothing the first couple of days of free agency. And that's a bad place to be, man. Real bad place to be. When everybody else in the league is doing something and you're not, my opinion, Wade, it's because our general manager does bad contracts. He's not good at doing contracts, timing of contracts. He's not good at any of that. It's pretty pathetic if you ask me. So
He's not like his dad. He's not like a chip off the old block.
I think I have to agree with Mike Fisher. The Cowboys went in all 3 of these last seasons. They went 12-5 3 years in a row. I'm not saying they went out and traded and got everyone, but they had 3 solid years of 3 solid teams. And all the cap, all these contracts, finally the Reaper came calling. It's time to clear the cap up. I know a lot of Cowboys fans don't want to hear that, but even freaking Charles Haley was saying that shit today.
Yeah,
they're clearing
trade.
the cap. They're clearing the cap this year. They're clearing it. They already made their little 3-year run. It's time to clear up the cap and then do it again next year. See what happens next year.
But I mean, I would say this, Wade.
That's why they're all in on everyone they got now, because they're not going to do no more contracts.
Yeah,
this is it.
Well, then why are we hearing they're bringing in Michael Thomas? They're bringing in Justin Simmons on Friday. We hear that Dallas reached out to Cincinnati's agent for T. Higgins. Is that all BS, or like what are they doing? Why would we be in on T. Higgins when we got our own receiver? We have a quarterback. We got guys on our own team. Do you think that's BS, guys, or do you think that's real? And I'm just curious of your opinion.
Probably just hot air for now. Just
It
probably
could be.
seeing what could happen. I don't know.
It also could be they're just trying to get a talented receiver on the cheap. I guess that'll kind of give you the best possible chance to win without really being too cap heavy. As far as since he signed his franchise tag.
Thanks, brother.
So I'm kind of thinking that if you guys bring him in, first and foremost, you're going to have to give us some draft capital, and then beyond that, you're going to just another big name that you're going to have to sign eventually.
Yeah, I just don't understand it.
I don't either.
Listen, if Mark, I don't know if he's watching, probably not, but if he's going to watch it, here you go, Mark Hutchinson. There you go, brother. I heard him and Dan Hisilio today. 3:30, I was listening while I was driving part of my mail route. And, Mark goes, we're going to give up a first-round pick. There's no way on God's green earth that you're going to give up a first-round pick for a guy who's been franchised and wants a mega deal. He wants number 1 receiver money. Higgins is not a number 1 receiver. He's not.
He's a solid 2.
He's a solid 2 at best, and that's fine. But, I mean, it's just amazing that they don't realize what the value of it is. If you got to pay a guy a lot of money, look what Rob would know. What did Stephon Diggs get in Houston? What did they trade him for? It was nothing high, right?
No.
Why?
I'm not
Because
mistaken.
you had to freaking pay him.
Yeah.
That you don't give up a high pick and pay. It's one or the other. You either give up a high pick for a guy who's already making money, or if you got to he's not coming to Dallas, people. That's all bullshit. Excuse my language.
they as far as for Stephon Diggs, they gave up a second round draft pick in 2025 to get him, along I think with the sixth rounder, in 2024's draft. So they didn't give up much at all to get him.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
just,
they didn't give up a first, I should say. A second, that's a premium pick for sure. But you would expect a name like Stephon Diggs, you would get he would go for a first rounder. But no, the sixth round 2024 pick and a fifth round, sixth round.
we lost me again. Wow. I don't
The
know
second
what's
round
going on.
2025. So
Anything new on the Cowboys game time? I've been out here. Out of touch, anybody? Arturo, we're supposed to bring in Justin Simmons and Michael Thomas on Friday for a workout. I don't know what I believe. And they're supposedly contacted the agent of T. Higgins. I don't know how we can.
And here's the thing, Brian. If Mike Fisher is right, which he's been right so far, he's been right. I'm not saying he knows everything. He's pretty embedded in the Cowboys. This ain't even it, folks. Just wait till next year, next offseason, when they really blow up this team and really rebuild it. Just wait.
But what could actually they do more, really, if you think about it, unless they actually
They're going to let
people?
DeMarcus Lawrence probably
we know
walk.
that.
Dude,
He's
everyone
gone.
on a one-year contract's probably going to be gone.
See, I figured that with DeMarcus Lawrence on
Yeah.
that second round pick we got. I just knew it's there.
Yeah.
I felt that way on that pick since the draft.
What's up, Loyal? Hop on, brother. We're having some internet problems here, so I apologize. But it's rough to think. But you figure, if who really is up for a contract next year? It's not anybody. Zach Martin will probably be gone, right?
Yeah,
He's probably going to
Zach
retire.
Yep.
You said D-Law. He's probably gone. We talking Dak Prescott? I guess we'll know. If they don't sign him by the start of the season, then he's gone, right, Wade?
Well, I mean, that's not unless you do it in November, which that's what they say. If you do contracts past November,
Right.
it doesn't
I'm just
affect
like
this
you
year's
said,
cap.
like big time. I mean, there's not many guys up after next year, other than second.
I mean, unless Dak
like
has told
tier
them I'm not
guys.
staying. If Dak has told them I'm not staying, they might be trying to blow this up after this year.
I'm hearing that Trey Lance looks like a linebacker. So we got that to look forward to. I don't know. He put on so much bulk. I hope he can throw a friggin' football. I'm really serious. They said he looks like a linebacker, people. It's absolutely crazy what's going on with this team. But we'll see, man. It's saying it's excellent condition. So where's the link, Game Time? It's in. I didn't see a community tab. I didn't see one.
It's there.
If you go to his main page, it will be under community.
Yeah, see, I didn't have a community tab. I put it under post. For whatever reason, it wouldn't show me a community tab. So I just look under either community tab or posts. I don't know if they did an update or something and I didn't get it, but I had no community tab like I normally do. But it was still, when I copied the link, it was still under there like it always was. It was in the same spot. So whatever. Something probably going on my end. That's what that tells me. But
And
right now,
if I was going to say Game Time, if Dak walks, then we got next offseason's even more crazier than this one.
yeah, if Dak walks, yeah, this is true. Everybody's,
Because the players you have on that team, who's going to want to stay
everybody's clamoring for
or go to
Shedeur
free
Sanders.
agency? Well, maybe.
Everybody's clamoring for Shedeur Sanders, but he's going to be right now. He's the odds-on favorite to be the overall.
If you were
number
going
one
to do
pick.
that, though,
Yep.
if you were
It's
going
like-
to do that, why not trade Dak now? Or I mean,
He has to agree to
I
it,
know he
you
has a
gotta
trade
find a
clause.
suitor.
I know that, but why not talk
Well,
to him
I
now?
said that before the draft, right, Brett?
Because I don't understand
Chris.
why you would waste his time.
Well, that's what I said before the draft. I sat there with Phil and Mark.
So,
and Mark,
what are your cornerstone pieces on your team right now?
Micah Parsons.
So, let's say you blow this up next year.
Or
Who
corners.
are the 5-player cornerstone players you're keeping?
My 5 players I'm keeping.
You're going to build around. Let's just say Dak walks. He's like, nah, I ain't staying here. Screw it. And you have to start with
Offensively?
5 players. Just
Offensively?
offense and defense, because I'm gonna be honest with you. If you look at this squad, is there really more than 5 cornerstone players on this squad? Like if they blow it up,
I would
is there
say,
5 if
well, yeah,
especially if Martin walks or if he retires rather, and D-Law, if you don't resign D-Law, and you have Pigs, you have Micah.
think about guys
Lamb.
25 years or younger.
Oh,
Yeah,
Well,
true.
you got CD Lamb,
Micah.
Micah Parsons.
Left side of the offensive line.
I know what I would say. I'm letting you guys talk. If
Left side of the offensive
yeah.
line, you know, you
figure
want to keep
Guyton, Beebe, Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
Those 3.
and think about your defense. You really
yeah.
only got 2 players you
Yeah.
really give a damn about. You got Micah Parsons and you got Trayvon Diggs.
Right, exactly.
Like you could
got
literally blow that entire
corner.
defense up and revamp it.
You got Bland too, though.
You got
But if
Yeah.
you got the rookie Marshawn Nealon. He's on a rookie deal.
But I'm telling
What's up, man?
we could trade Parsons and get some picks.
Well, that's
Yeah.
me.
That's what I said.
Me
Walker
personally,
2.0.
and I get, listen. People in the chat are going to get all pissy. I'm not saying I want to trade Micah, but if you're talking about what's your highest valued player that you could get real big impact picks, it would be Micah.
It's Micah.
Parsons. Yeah, unfortunately, but that's how you got to give up something to get something. He has to. Micah Parsons has to prove a lot this year. Micah has to prove a lot. He is big time on the gun. He's come out and he's all pissed off that people have him behind Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt. And he can't understand why.
And I mean, I like Micah, but
I
he's
love Micah.
undersized. He's undersized. He's fast. He can get to the quarterback, but he's undersized
And here's the thing.
compared to Myles Garrett and all those guys.
Our biggest issue when we get to the playoffs, we obviously get bullied, punched around, and we get ran all over. What I value now, like, yes, I value rushing the passer, but what I value now after seeing this decade long of just defense that just can't stop the run and can't bully people, I want big defensive linemen and big sideline to sideline linebackers. We need to get back to that. And if I got to trade Micah Parsons to get it, I'm trading him.
Yeah, and everybody gets caught up on names. Wade, you remember what New England was rolling? What would they constantly do? Right? They would
get rid of
showcase their players and then trade them.
contract.
Well, they would give up a guy at
they
their
were-
peak, right? They would
Yeah,
give
exactly.
Up a guy.
They would do it a year early instead of a year
Right.
late.
And
And
that's
I
why they
would
were
get
always. That's why
With
they were
Seymour.
always in the top 10 draft when they got, even after they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Randy Moss, Corey Dillon. I could go on and on about players that they've traded.
I mean, we
They
keep-
only kept
Rodney
guys that
Harrison.
were like, they
Richard
only kept
Seymour.
guys that actually changed the. I'm not saying these guys weren't good, but I mean, damn,
What's
you
up,
can't get rid
Marcus?
of Randy Moss. You can't get rid of Randy Moss. You can't get rid of Robert Gronkowski. You can't get rid of players like that. You
They
got to
kept
keep them
3
because they make
players.
such an impact.
They
Yeah,
kept
yeah, Wes
Belichick and
Walker.
Brady.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
the 2 players that they kept.
I mean, damn, can you name their offensive line? They had solid offensive line play for like 20 years. So, like, I could name like one, Matt Light.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like, they just kept having
It was
solid offensive
It
line.
wasn't like any big name, high
And Nate
profile.
Solder, too, was pretty good, too. He was
But-
out of CU.
But you know
Go
what they
to
would
New
do?
York.
They would wait until they were all right, like a year away from really cashing in, then unload them. And Eagles used to do this, Rob, but that was one thing they used to do. I'm not saying they don't do it at all, but they don't live by their own creed early on. Remember they would always make sure. Remember we talked about it. Brian Dawkins, he was a cap casualty because, he's coming up against a 30. Sometimes you got to make exceptions, but I look at teams like New England. I get it, they had Brady, but they were able to trade guys, defensive ends, linebackers, even offensive tackles. They would trade guys. They trained Isaiah Wynn, I believe. A couple years after they drafted him, you got a high pick. It was just pretty cool to see. It just seems like our front office waits, gets outnumbered financially, and then has to take a big dead hit, or they re-sign them overpriced. I don't know. I just don't get it. It's very, very frustrating as a Cowboy fan going into, we're a week away from training camp and nothing has been done. We brought in Eric Kendricks. That's about it, people. Eric Kendricks, and we're sitting there saying, okay, now what? We got a receiver who says he's holding out. And Dak Prescott, we don't know. He's at weddings, getting lit, dancing, wearing a boot on a boat fishing. That's all we know right now. So we're a week away. Hopefully we get some answers. But all this talk about bringing in people, don't buy it, people. Do not get sucked in yet again. F this team until, I'm not saying don't watch, don't root, but don't get your hopes up because you're only going to get burnt. What's up?
Yeah,
You
if
seen
they bring
the link I
anyone
sent
in,
you?
they're going to be at the tail end of their career, like a Michael Thomas or
Yeah, I don't want
someone
Michael
you can get
Thomas.
for a veteran minimum.
Who the hell wants
You
Michael
said-
Thomas?
You
Well, I
seen the
think
link I sent you about Charles Haley,
Yes.
right, gang?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
about
saw
wanting to
that.
trade Dak. Is that the one you're talking about? Loyal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Mark
he's-
made a video
yeah.
about that as well earlier.
Now
and
he was.
Yeah.
If you watch the video, he basically came out and said, "Well, Dak is a great person, great player. He should be signed." He's basically hammered the organization, like I just laid out. Basically said, this organization does everything ass backwards. If you re-sign CD, Wade, they save $12 million on the cap this year. If you re-sign Dak, like you said, it ain't going to really affect because they want that $55 million hit. But, they're going to have over 20-some million dollars if they re-sign a CD long-term under the cap still. So they have plenty of options, but it doesn't seem like they want to do any. I just worry that, do you think they have a game plan or do you think they're just...
No, I mean, I think the game plan should have been if you're going to eventually sell them, because they always want to play chicken with your players and then eventually cave in anyway. They did that with Zeke, did it with Dak the first time around. To me, it's like the smart thing to do was sign them before free agency so you could at least go out and get a top shelf free agent or two in the first week or two because you'd had the money to do it. But if you're eventually going to pay them, why just not pay them before so you could get some talent as opposed to bargain shop in the UFL? And then still eventually sign CD and Dak and Micah anyway. So I don't see a game plan other than continue to value shop. That's why you're bringing in, Michael Thomas.
Seems like
he's like 100 years old now.
Yeah.
He's way past his prime.
And let me ask you this: the last 3 years, the teams that won the Super Bowl, it's all been team. It hasn't been major superstars. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, but and Kelsey. But outside of that, you can't tell me that Kansas City Chiefs had a more talented team than the Dallas Cowboys. They had a system in place. They had a great coaching staff. And that's what we need to get back to, is get back to coaches that know how to coach these players, motivate these players, and put them in their place.
And
Dallas Cowboys are just a bunch of spoiled, rotten kids. I want more money.
Everybody?
Oh, he's making more money than me. I want
West
that
Virginia?
money. We need to get back to what made them successful. And that's putting boots to asses.
Well, we talk about accountability, and I didn't see that in Dan Quinn for you guys last year, where I think Zim will go in there and hold those players accountable, like it or not. And the thing about KC, like you mentioned, they have Kelsey, they have Mahomes, they also have Chris Jones on defense, who's phenomenal, probably one of the best D tackles in the league. But they have consistency. They have the same coaching staff that they've had for years. They lost Bieniemy, but they didn't lose a step since I think Reed calls the plays anyway. But they have Mahomes has had that stability in that organization where Eagles, all Cowboys don't.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, our front office is a circus. I ain't gonna lie. Mm-hmm. Our front office is a circus. They just are. And back in the day, Jimmy Johnson had everything on point, but now you got all these wannabes. Stephen Jones wants to be that guy, and he can't.
Agreed. He doesn't know how to do contracts in order to be that guy, and there will be no accountability since he's a Jones. So to me, he can mess up, and job security is still there with him. As far as all the talking heads out there talking about the Eagles going to struggle on offense, bringing in another coordinator for Jalen, what do you guys think about your defensive coordinator, and how do you think that the Cowboys defense are going to do
good,
for the
Tommy? How are you, brother?
Well, it's like I said before, Robert. It depends on if the defense buys into Mike Zim. That's what it's going to boil down to. We see what happened with Mike Nolan. You had guys coming out, Jalen Smith, oh, this defense is too complex. But how do our players buy into his system? Are they going to buy into it? Because a lot of them were drafted by Dan Quinn, so they're spoiled by Dan Quinn. So how are they going to adjust to change? That's going to be the big question. That's my opinion.
No, I mean, I hear you, man. And, you know, well, here's the thing. I'll address your question, Rob, but here's my thing when it gets back to the question I brought up. You know, I see a lot of comments. Dak's been in the league 9 years. All is true. Again, I'm fine with moving on, but again, if they were confident in Trey, why not sign Trey to a multi-year deal at a lower rate? You know, Trey would have been all over that if you would have said, well, you know, we'll give you a 3-year deal, 24 million guaranteed, something like that, 8 million a year. He probably would have jumped all over it. You know, instead, we're going with everybody on a 1-year deal. And if Trey, here's my problem with the whole situation okay, we let that go. If Trey looks really, really good, now Trey's going to hold out for big money. Now, I don't know what he'll actually get, but 8 years, okay. All right, sorry, Coyote. You know what I mean. A kid Cowboy said 9 years. But regardless, you know, that's my fear with that. It seemed like they didn't even go all in. You gave up a 4th-round pick for Trey Lance, and yet you did nothing with it. You turned down his 5th-year option, so that's not giving the player any confidence that you might have in him. You know, now what are we going to do? I would have liked to have seen him lock him up even as the number 2. I guess there's time still to do that. It's not like they got to do it now, but, yeah, as a fan, it's not a good position to be. Now, you asked me about Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer, Rob, I would tell you, is the type of defensive coordinator that doesn't go and say, I need this guy, I need that guy. He will say, this is how I like to run my defense. I would like this, this, and this, but I will coach up anybody you have. Mike Zimmer is a hell of a defensive coach. I made this a comment before. When he came into Dallas, you know, he was told to run a 3-4 under Parcells when he never ran a 3-4. And what did he do? He instantly made that defense in the top 15 in year 1 under a totally new defense that he's now. He's a very, very, very good defensive coach. Now, saying that, I'm very curious to see how Sam Williams, Micah Parsons, guys like that are going to react to Mike Zimmer, because what makes him great is he doesn't care who you are. He wants his defense run a certain way. He will not put up with false starts. He will not put up with lining up in the neutral zone. All that stupid shit that Sam Williams was doing, he will not put up with a guy like Micah Parsons freelancing, trying to get a sack when teams like Philly are game planning his ass and running right at him. So, I don't know. Anybody else have any thoughts regarding Mike Zimmer?
And I've watched Zimmer. Even he's very competitive. I mean, I remember watching a preseason game of him, and he had his starters out there. They had a lead, and he didn't want to let his foot off the gas. He said, "No, we're not going to. Just because we're winning, we're not going to stop playing." And that was in preseason, so that's what I like about him. I like the fact that he brings aggression. You know what I mean? So, like I said, a lot of these players, they're going to have to adjust to his system.
He's good with secondary players too. If you've ever looked at like statistics of his defensive coordinating, his secondary is pretty good at what they do. So that'd be interesting to see how that works too.
How are you feeling about your secondary right now?
Well, Trayvon has ramped it up. So Trayvon Diggs has ramped up the work, so that's good. We're a week out from camp. I still expect him to start on the side as a precaution, and that's fine. He is doing full-out running now. Yeah, so we have Trayvon. We got Deron Bland, who's in a contract year now.
I want to see how they do man-to-man. I mean, I've seen them make opportunities where the quarterbacks throw the ball and they're in the right place at the right time. But I want to see how they are man-to-man against these good receivers.
Well, I would think if you're a Dallas fan rooting for this defense, you have nothing but good things to expect, because what's his name? The safety. He came out and said that
Hooker?
what's that? Yeah, Malik Hooker. He came out and said that after like the first few weeks of the OTA, like behind, in class basically, not OTAs, but they got the playbook. He said they're not going to give up any big plays. They're going to do a lot of games up front, and you're not going to know where the pressure's coming from. But as far as the back, they're going to be very, very, very disciplined. You may see less turnovers, but more sound defense. Whereas Quinn, he would give up a big play. You saw Bland give up some. You would even see Trayvon give up big plays because he was basically telling his players, go get the ball, go get the ball, go get the ball. But, you could be schemed up that way too. Like the good teams know how to scheme up a player who's a little bit over the top as far as gambling. I know Hooker came out and said, we are very excited by the it's just early, how they are perceiving his defense because they don't give up the play over the top. Now, that might mean that you might give up some stuff underneath, which is really gets to my issue on this team is pass rush and, more importantly, the defensive line. We need to be able to get pressure, and I love Osa, and I love Golston in the middle. I'm not talking about the edge rushers. We're going to be bringing heat from the A-gaps or dropping back, doing a lot of stunts. I'm all excited about that, but we need to get a one technique in there ASAP. So, your thoughts? You guys in the...
I agree.
with that.
You know what I mean? I think we need to get a one tech. And I don't really like Brian Broaddus's... I don't like Brian Broaddus's his solution. He keeps wanting to trade TJ Bass, which I look for... Because the strength of this team, people... this is what I was afraid of going into the draft. The strength of this team is the guard, the interior offensive line position. That's the strength of the team. But we decided to draft a left tackle, and if he doesn't work, we could be in trouble.
Well, he's actually a right tackle, but yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to switch out Tyler unless it's an emergency. They're going to put out Chuma Edoga, who's horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a 5th-round pick on Asim Richards last year. If he can't start at left tackle this year, then we need to cut him and get rid of him. Matt Miletsko was still on the team. He's a tackle. This is year number 3 at least. If you can't start at left tackle by now, then go. We're done. Move on.
Well, like I said, he's going to be tested real fast because he's going to, when we play week 1 against the Browns, when you got Myles Garrett lined up against you, yeah, he's going to be tested. We're going to find out what he's about. And that don't necessarily, if he loses, that doesn't necessarily, because if you remember, I've had a brain fart.
Who? What position?
Tackle, right tackle.
Oh, yeah,
Steele. Yeah, I'm sorry. He struggled. Remember week 1 when he played against the Rams when he had to go up against
last year, right?
No, his rookie year.
Oh yeah, rookie year. He had a horrible rookie year, Rob.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean
unbelievable. Basically.
Yeah, after that he got better at the second year.
And then he tore his ACL, and then last year was a struggle. So you would assume he'd get back closer to when he finally everything clicked in his head. But again, that's another question mark. I hate to say it, but it is.
I remember Reddick getting to Dak a couple times, beaten still last year. Yeah, he didn't look too good.
That was another thing that annoyed me today. Yeah, when I was watching Philly 500 and Mark, and sometimes I wonder, Mark can't just pull stuff up when he needs to, because Philly 500 was running his mouth about, Eagles want to win. I'm like, not every move is about winning. And I did a $5 super chat that was never read. Listen, people, if you ever buy a super chat off of me, I will read it. And if not, I miss it, I will make sure I read it.
I would have rebutted Philly 500. What do you mean y'all want to win? You got one Super Bowl in 60 years, and you're falling flat on your face 3 times. I don't want to hear that.
Well, I did.
We want to win. Wait, we
Hmm?
want to win. I mean, that doesn't mean we are winning.
I did a $5 super chat basically saying you want to win. Well, what happened with Reddick? I mean, what they were talking about was moves regarding just making moves to win. Well, Reddick should be here if that was the case. You got caught up with the money. You didn't want to pay him because for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. Dallas does it all the time. But I was just pointing out that they do make moves about the checkbook as well. That's just the bottom line. Now you're going.
I definitely think the Eagles want to win. I think the Cowboys want to win too. The issue is they want to do it their way. Their way ain't working.
Right.
They don't want to change that.
They want to save this. That's what it is.
It's like this. It's like that. It's like this, and right. Yeah. They don't.
They want to do it They want to do it at a discounted price. Is what they want to do.
Or
they want to bargain win.
Or they overpay.
They want to look good. They want to think that their philosophy will work, and they'll get a ring bargain shopping and doing it that way as opposed to going all out. And going all out doesn't always work either. I mean, I get that.
They want to be New England Patriots. Is
What's
what
up, Felix?
Exactly.
Is Dallas that dumb? Dallas can't look at the market going into last year and say, hey, listen, CD, we're going to give you $30 million a year. That would have been far and away the highest. Are you that dumb? Are you that dumb that you can't project and see where everything's going? Right. What are you doing as a general manager? That's your job. You got to be able to look. We always hear about Dallas looking 5 years ahead, right? 5 years ahead, we're on top of everything. You ain't looking 5 years ahead. Come on, you're embarrassing.
Maybe they're not
dude's
looking.
A Biden. He's a Biden now.
Maybe they're not looking 5 years ahead because that Green Bay loss put a wrench in everything.
I agree with that 100%, Wade. I think on the outside looking in, looking at the Joneses, I think in their eyes, these last 4 to 8 years, as far as Dak being the quarterback, I feel that they think they've given him ample talent around him to win it. And I think this last year, I felt that they thought it was their year. Like, we have all the pieces there to win it. And then the way that they lost to Green Bay, I think they're just like, what else can we do?
And look, go down the line, people. He is right. Robert's right. Go look back at some of those teams. That 2014 team was good enough to win a Super Bowl. I know Dak wasn't on it. 2016 Cowboys, that team was stacked. That team went 13-3, was dominating everyone. Good enough to win the Super Bowl. 3 years in a row, 12-5. We were good enough to get to the conference title or Super Bowl. Like, we just fell flat on our face 3 times. I mean, what do you do from here?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't know. I haven't been in this place mentally for a season because literally, as upset as I am, we could literally, and I know people are going to laugh at this, but I think Wade understands what I'm saying. Literally, we could go to the NFC Championship game. I mean, that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, just based on the talent of the team. If a few things you fall into place, like every team right now has optimism. Am I predicting it? Hell no. I'm not going to predict it. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Cowboys, won the division, everything hit, Guyton is the guy, and all of a sudden, holy shit. Mike is playing great. Zimmer's defense is really tightening shit up. It looks good. I could see them going far, but I could also see them imploding and winning 9 games.
We don't capitalize on opportunities.
What's up?
Last year we had the number 2 seed team. We should
at least Cowboy fan. What's up, brother? I emailed you back, man.
We should have at least made it to the division. We won it out. The year before that, we had a tough game against the 49ers. We blew it. The year before that, 49ers, we blew it.
Yeah.
It's just something mental,
and
man.
that's the thing. That's the thing. I love Mark. I love Mark Holmes. Mark, if you listen, I love you. Brother, that game in San Francisco, that was our best chance to get to a conference title. Like, it was dead even. We were holding San Fran in check.
That one was on Dak.
We were holding them in check. That game was to the end. The difference in that game was their quarterback didn't make any mistakes and made the throws.
That's a fact.
Ours didn't.
Unfortunately,
no turnovers. Yep.
That's a fact. We can't run away from that. And this is what I would expect my Cowboys fans, at least the ones, we're a little light tonight. I'm having bad internet problems. The internet's coming and going. That's why we only got 20-some people in here. But, listen, at the end of the day, we have to keep it 100. I pride myself in doing so, and I would say, Dak, that San Fran game was on you, bro. I'm talking about the one on the road. They kept them in it. Now, don't get me wrong. We lost Pollard. I don't know how far we would have gone, but that's no excuse. You win the game. You move on. It seems like yeah, go ahead, bro.
No, I was going to say, Brian, if we move on to Philly, we play Philadelphia in Philadelphia. I don't know how you feel about this, Robert. I think we would have gave y'all a lot better a game than San Fran did.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a lot better game. I'm not saying we would have
we
went
know
in
each other.
Philly.
That's just the way it goes.
The reason why we lost to Philly was because our offensive line buckled that fourth quarter.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, we was leading the whole entire game.
I'm just saying that season, if we go to Philadelphia in the conference title, we're putting up a better fight than San Fran because it's
true. We did not.
Oh yeah,
I agree. I think you're talking about last year's game, right?
Yes.
No, I'm talking about.
No, I'm talking about Loyal when he said that.
That got sacked like 4 times in a row and called back a touchdown. Yeah, that game.
West Virginia, great show,
See,
guys. I'm going to join.
And Dak had it. It was first.
It
was first and goal at the 6. With like 30 seconds left in that game, and he had ample opportunity to win that game, and you just kept going backwards in that drive.
Penalties, sacks.
That's
Carter
the thing.
rocked him on that sack.
That's the thing in that divisional round in San Francisco. All the Dak supporters, Dak's my quarterback. Okay, I love Dak, but Dak, that is where you elevate yourself and become a greater thought of Cowboys quarterback by beating San Fran and getting us to a conference title. That's where people start thinking differently. It didn't happen.
It's true, people. I know, and again, I know people that love Dak in here. We're keeping it real. We're not hammering Dak. We're saying Dak has it in him, but he hasn't put a team on his back yet when we needed him to. I'm sorry. That's just the fact of the matter. I'm wearing a Dak shirt tonight, so I love Dak. But again, we have to keep it 100 here. We're not going to make excuses for our quarterback because we like him.
And you know what? That's why I respect your chat, and I focus more on this. Again, Wade, I get it. You have much love for Mark, but damn, that dude is just a Dak defender beyond. And to me, I'm more about team than I am about Jalen. Like, Jalen's getting shit on right now. And if Jalen isn't the dude, then he isn't the dude. But to me, I want success for my Eagles. I just want success for the Eagles. Yeah. I don't care who's the quarterback.
Yeah,
if we win the Super Bowl with Pickett, then so be it.
Well, you won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles.
Right.
That just goes to show you the ultimate team.
And I'm cool with
there.
So, I mean,
took Brady down in his prime.
Right.
I mean, Brady was
Brady was
the
Nick
shit
Foles
in that
win.
Super Bowl.
That was a team win, right?
Yeah.
That's what team win. That's what we're talking about. That was a perfect example. That's another reason I couldn't be on Big Sill's show, because I would be like, okay, Jeff Hostetler, Trent Dilfer. I mean, it goes on and on. Brad Johnson. These are not Hall of Fame quarterbacks, people that have won Super Bowls. So you're going to tell me how great they are? No, they were on a great team, and they did not let the moment get the better of them. They stepped up and did the job that was required. They didn't hand the ball to the other team and give them 14 points to start a playoff game like in Green Bay.
That's the thing is Mark is old enough to know what it is to see Roger Staubach constantly come through in the playoffs and elevate the team to victory. He knows what it's like to watch Troy Aikman. Look, Troy Aikman did not have the best of numbers regular season. Steve Young and Brett Favre won MVP in the 90s, and John Elway were better regular season quarterbacks than Troy, like as far as, what they did in stats. But you know what? When Troy got to the playoffs, he was beating people down.
Yep.
He was winning.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
you would think Mark would look back at that. Like, it's not about numbers, Mark. It's about what your quarterback does when he gets to the playoffs.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's how it works, right? Because you saw, and I got news for you, Wade. You don't even have to be good for a whole game. You just got to give me a fourth quarter to remember. Like, that's just the way it works. And again, I'm not hating on Dak. I think he can do it, But I will say, as it gets closer, I cannot blindly just look at an Eagle fan or whoever, a Commander fan, and go, well, I know he could do it, so we're right and you're wrong.
So
I can't
so
say that.
here's a good one. So here's the thing. How many years was Donovan McNabb in Philadelphia? Last time I checked, they didn't build the statue of McNabb. They built the statue of who?
Nick Foles.
Yeah, because he won the Super
I
Bowl.
hear you, Philly Eagles Mafia. I'm only responding to some of the negative Eagle hate that wants to shit on Dak. Dak's a hell of a quarterback. I'm not here to crap on Dak. I'm just saying in the playoffs, we haven't seen him elevate. That's all. That's all. Philly Eagles Mafia. I'm really not here. I do. Because, like, you have to remember, I get crapped on a lot from a lot of local people about how great Jalen is. Again, if you're not going to keep it 100 and say, well, your team was great, and Jalen's an RPO quarterback who I think he should do, and you're just going to totally blindly crap on Dak Prescott, who's beat you more times than he's not. Dak's record in the NFC East, again, is 32-8. But he doesn't play. If he played the NFC East, Wade, in the playoffs every year, I'd feel pretty good. But he don't. He plays Green Bay. He plays 49ers. He plays teams that are not so familiar, and we always struggle against uncommon opponents. It's a fact. It is. We can't handle the 49ers.
I'm curious to see if that theory will hold up, though, because to me, it's like, okay, yeah, you're right. He plays the East good, 9-4 against the Eagles. Totally get that. Split the last 3 years with Jalen being the starter. I just don't know if he'll have that same mentality when it's playoff time. So I know you'd probably feel more comfortable playing the Eagles in the playoffs, but is that going to play the same kind of game that he would against the Eagles in the regular season, or is he going to be deer in headlights because it is the playoffs?
Angry Cowboy fan says every team is judged by their team performance except for Dallas. They are all a team. The QB has to be elite 24/7. I don't get it. I agree with you. But, it's hard to, like I said, I was all over Dak when he went into Tampa, and yet nobody's giving him credit for a road playoff win that he went in. Basically had almost a perfect quarterback rating. I think he threw for 4 or 5 touchdowns, ran in for 4 touchdowns, ran in for another 2. He was unbelievable. But, Tampa Bay was a horrible team, even though they won their division and it was a road playoff game. We didn't get any credit for it, but you know how it works, Angry. It's all about what you do. Like last year, that was a bad loss. I think we could have got past the 49ers losses. The one at home where he was driving down the field and everybody on defense was either lining up off sides,
that was a franchise crushing loss.
Yeah, and then it followed it up 2 years ago in San Fran, and then the capper last year was home. When you're like, how the hell they were planning victory parties after that game.
I mean, damn. Hold on. I love Mark, but hold on. He was talking about, we always, he likes taking shots at what's his name? Oh, Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm like, hold up, man. Jimmy Garoppolo came into our house that first year we went 12-5 and beat us.
Yep. That's why I always kind of liked Jimmy because of that, because he was scary.
And it's like Jimmy Johnson said back before. We need to get up for these big games. And it's like they do the total opposite. When we got a big team on our schedule, we need to be the games that we play our best. And we don't. We fail. We fail miserably. Last year, we played Miami, Buffalo, all those teams, all those good teams we lost to. And we need to get up for those games.
I hear you, Loyal. And that's a good segue because I've also heard Mark shit on the Eagles saying even when we were 10-1, we didn't beat good teams. He said that numerous times. I could go 5 videos in and he said that. But we did beat Buffalo. We did beat Miami.
Micah Parsons, all this trash he talks, he needs to be that guy in the locker room. He needs to be Charles Haley. That's what Micah Parsons needs to become. That's
why I'm with you, Loyal. If it gets to a point where his value is high and we don't see anything more from him than what we've already seen, meaning he's going to, don't get me wrong, he's one of the best athletes on the team in the NFL. I get
But
it.
I don't care about that. I want to know, what is your leadership like?
That's
How are
why
you
I
going to
like a Myles
respond?
Garrett.
How are you going to respond when you're getting punched in the mouth? Are you
Yeah.
going to sit there and
What's up,
just
Vinny?
take? You know, you got to be able to get up for these big games.
I
He
agree with
talks about
Loyal
the
on that.
trash. Oh yeah,
100%.
I'm this and that. Well, prove it. Prove it in these big games. Prove that you're that guy. Prove that you're worth that money. That you're that good. And I haven't seen it.
No, and
I'm sorry.
You're absolutely right, Lowell. You're absolutely right with that, because when I went back and I looked at Micah's stats, he was eating against these bad teams. He had like 3-4 sacks in that Jets game. So beating up on bad teams is something that Dallas could do, and normally your defense. Because once you guys get the lead, then that's when the dogs will go hunting and you guys get a lot of sacks, because it forces the other team
We
to
did
throw.
that a lot last year, Rob.
Absolutely.
Like,
See,
if you look at
Lawrence
our
Taylor.
schedule-
Lawrence Taylor got up for these big games. Lawrence Taylor, he was like, you've seen
Again,
it. You know,
That's the thing I would say. I think Micah is a little out of position. Micah cannot line up and play edge rusher down in and down out.
He's a 3-4 linebacker, inside linebacker.
Yeah, I hope that Mike Zimmer slides him into the A gaps at times. I would love to him to play more linebacker, not to drop back. Play him to rush him, or, you know, obviously not every time. You know Mike Zimmer. He likes blitzing the A gaps, or he likes faking like he's going to blitz the A gaps, drop back, blitz the corners, blitz a safety that's playing on the line. There's a lot that Mike Zimmer does. I would say it's to our advantage having Mike Zimmer this year, because I think if Dan Quinn were there, I think we would be suspect early on, because let's face it, our defense is on tape. People know how to play us. But Mike Zimmer's different. I'm actually excited about that, other than the fact that we don't have a true one technique, and that's got to play out. I think we will get one before the season, but if not, I hope that the local media blast this organization, because we're going into a season yet again without a position. Like
I
last
doubt
year.
we'll get somebody.
I think we will. I really do.
And how was
Regular
Micah
days.
asking to be the highest paid player when he fades at the end of the season?
Again, I love
And
it.
And
But
and
what are
if
you talking
his
about,
stats
right?
in the playoffs, he's non-existent.
If I was a
if you
coach,
wanna
that's
get-
what I
if
would
you wanna
tell
be
Micah.
that guy, you got to show up in the like
Yeah.
how
I
you said,
agree,
Loyal, in the big
Marcus.
You
game
got to show up in
and in the
big games.
playoffs.
If Reddick can play all year and show up at the end,
You got to
Micah
show up
should
in the
be
big
able to
games.
also.
That's the bottom. It don't matter
Phillies,
what
Eagle
your
Mafia,
stats look
shout out
like.
to you.
One
But
thing I know Zimmer
how
will
are
bring
you?
in
How are you
is-
going to handle it when you're playing against the best?
Right.
True.
You know,
One thing I know Zimmer's going to bring in is a little more press coverage and a more physicality that way. I think you'll see a little
He
bit of
loves
that.
press coverage. He loves
And-
having a safety deep, and he
Mhm, a
loves
couple of
bringing
them. And we need that a little more.
disguising,
We
which
are
could
not.
help us.
We're not really physical sometimes playing press coverage. And
And
there's
to Wade-
times that we need to
It'll
be.
be a trade,
Absolutely.
Arturo.
Agreed. And to Wade's point, though, you guys need more physical linebackers. You need bigger linebackers. You need a bigger one technique in the middle. You guys have to get bigger in order to be that physical team.
Yeah,
well, I think Kendrick will be a good leader for us on defense.
Overshown
I mean-
put on a lot of weight.
I mean, I liked
The guy
liked
from the UFL, believe it or not, is a big boy. So, and he won awards. I mean, I know people aren't going to get excited, but linebackers, just remember, people, you don't have to draft a linebacker in the first round to be great. So
I
I'm just
liked
saying.
LVE, but LVE just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
LVE
Yeah,
was
he could.
hurt when we drafted him. That's why That's why we were able to
But
get him.
I
where we
think
were.
Kendricks will be a good leader for our defense. He'll be good at calling the plays on defense. I just want to see how he handles these, tough offenses.
I just want to see if he
question.
could go all season, being, what is he, 33 now?
Who's
Yeah,
that?
I'm hoping he doesn't fade, come down
Who's that?
this season.
Hendricks.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think he's a bridge player. I think he'll be fine this year. But I do think we have other pieces, and I really don't think that we're done. Like I said, just remember, Leah Fowl. That's a good point. Angry Cowboys fan, Maris
sure.
Leah Fowl. I'm just gonna let people know. The people that I know down there are telling me the coaches are doing nothing but raving about this player. I'm not telling you he's going to lead the NFL. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he's a bigger, athletic, instinctual player as a rookie who they are thrilled with since the draft. Now, I don't know what you're going to hear other than that, but these are people that I trust. So Maris Leofau is really looking good. So yet that's another piece. We'll see. Listen,
Is he that kid out of Notre Dame?
yes,
Yeah.
and I was suspect on him because I wanted Jalen Wright. I wanted Lloyd, Marshawn Lloyd out of USC. I wanted one of those running backs, but we didn't take him, and we took this kid. And everything I'm hearing is he's everything that they wanted and more, and they're ecstatic. Now we'll see, right? Talk is cheap. So that's what's fun about a week away. We're going to see preseason games. These guys are going to get a lot. We're going to know right away. Like, listen, everybody in the chat that knows and followed the Cowboys, you know that when DeMarvin Overshown was in the game in both preseason games, he looked dominant. And I'm only saying that because it's a fact. He looked dominant up until the point where he tore his ACL, and this team did not replace him. So if he can come back and pick up the pieces where he left off, he put on a lot of weight, a lot of muscle. He's more of and he didn't lose any of his speed. That's exciting to me. But again, it's all on paper, people. Just like when we hammer the Eagles about, oh, well, you're talking about this, you're talking about that. It's hypothetical. You like the linebacker out of Tampa. Again, that's all we're going by, people. We're going by on paper.
Philly old head, you know what last year's draft was? It was a position fill-in draft.
Last year's draft
That's exactly what that was.
Horrendous.
And that's why it was so horrendous. It was a position fill draft.
Yeah, they got too cute is what happened. But again, I blame the ownership. I blame Will McClay for not going to another team. Listen, I would tell your son Will, because that's the rumor that Will don't want to leave Dallas because his son is local in high school or whatever. Listen, Will, you got to go run a team. I actually, unlike Kid Cowboy, I like Will McClay. Will McClay is a hell of a talent evaluator. You can't hit 100%, people. He's done very well. But
Shoemaker, though, in the second,
that
should have been like Shoemaker in the second. That should have been a third or fourth round pick.
Oh, Schoonmaker?
Yeah. Again, I think that this draft may yield more than it did last year. A lot of those guys got hurt, and sometimes that happens. But I think Mozzie might ultimately be a bust, just based on what I'm hearing. He's not willing to put on the weight. He's going to be a 3 technique, which is really not what we need. But if he's good, fine. And now Mozzie has turned into it. Now, he was a bottom of the round, first round pick. I want everybody to remember that. He wasn't a Jordan Davis first round pick. He was literally drafted at the number 27 spot. That's a second round pick, people.
Mark did say he was going to be better than Jordan Davis, though.
He may have, but I think Mark may have said that out of just
bullshitting.
Yeah, I think he just wants to fight. There's no way he knew that. And Jordan Davis had pedigree. And they gave up multiple picks to move up to 15 or 16 to get Jordan Davis. So, whereas Mozzie they were going to take Matthew Bergeron out of Syracuse, I think, the right tackle. It was him and Mozzie, and Will McClay stood up and said, we haven't had a defensive guy rated this high since Russell, Maryland, or whatever, or drafted in the first round since Russell, Maryland. So they took Mozzie. Well, we got to wait and see.
If I was Howie in that draft when Jordan Davis was available, I would have taken Kyle Hamilton.
And I loved Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton's a beast. In Baltimore, that kid is just he's legit.
But again, I don't think the book is closed on Jordan Davis either. So I don't think that's fair to write him off. I think my thing is this. There's a value at each position, Rob. If you're a 1 technique, believe it or not, you don't normally draft them high. You normally can get them a little later for what they do. Not many Vita Veas around. If you can get a Vita Vea, great. If you can get a Warren Sapp, great. If you can get a Jerome Brown, great. But that's not always the case. You know what I mean? So, but a guy like Mozzie, I just think that was a reach, man. I think that was a big reach. So, Yeah, it is what it is. The last 10 years, 2-5. I hear you, Kid Cowboy. I'm
This one's
frustrated too.
for filthy old head or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He says I think Leofau is going to be a dog too. Yeah, I'm
Sub
hoping
gang,
so. What's up, Drew? How are you, man? How's work?
work.
Yeah, understaffed.
Yep.
Yep.
Understaffed
Yeah, my
today.
wife tells me nightmare stories all the time about her. Yeah, working agency and working in hospitals, working in rehabs, acute, subacute, all that. And so always underpaid and understaffed. So shout out to all the nurses out there. Man, I can't find the link. Colts Cowboys. The link is for channel members only now. It's not just for anybody, my friend. Sorry,
And you know what, Brian? Pedigree matters. I think
It does. It does.
I mean, when Mark, he,
we're hammering Mark tonight. He's gonna if
Bro,
he's watching, he's
I
fucking.
love you, Mark. I love you. I love you. But when you say, I love you.
He's
But
gonna
when you
kill
say,
me.
it took Peyton Manning, 9 years or 8 years to get a Super Bowl. I'm like, hold up. Everyone knew coming out of college, Peyton Manning was going to be a monster. Everybody knew that. You could see it already. You couldn't see that with Dak Prescott.
Like it was one
He
of those
didn't have a
things where
defense for a long
That
time.
came out of nowhere.
Right, exactly. You knew.
Yeah,
like,
you knew
he just
Peyton
needed
Manning
to
was going to be a beast.
Yeah, you just like, okay, when
I'll
is the
agree.
team
I
gonna
didn't
fill
think
in?
Dak was going to be what he was. I mean, I was more
I was
focused on
hoping.
Zeke,
Yeah,
and I was looking at Romo, and then Romo got
Do you
hurt.
remember
and
Dak?
came in and signed.
Like, you guys remember Dak's rookie year? Remember how bad
Yep.
his practice was? Everybody says, "Oh my God, this guy's practice is horrendous," but yet he would play great in scrimmages and in games.
What?
And
Well,
it
I
was
knew
like,
when they
okay,
played the Rams in the
he's
preseason.
a
I knew
money
that.
player.
I knew right then and there Dak was going to be a
Fucking
starter.
money player he was, right?
You
Then
could
we
see
get
it
into
then, though.
playoffs.
His accuracy wasn't that good, but the more he got,
But he worked at it.
in,
He worked
his
at it.
accuracy improved. I mean, the Rich Eisen show, I think he was on at one time. He was throwing a ball to him, I think. And I don't know, even him just throwing that didn't look accurate. But 2 or 3 years later, you could see the work he put in. But
I agree, bro. 2016, the defense let us down. I agree.
But real quick about that, Dak's early years, his first year, he had struggles, and Dak didn't really click until what? When Kellen came in a couple years after, and that's why I think it's unfair for guys to.
Well, Drew, you remember his first year as a rookie?
I just think it's unfair for guys to say that Hurts can't do something.
Well, yeah,
I'm not saying that his legs aren't his legs are definitely.
I think that's what makes him special.
part
I'm
of
not
his
saying
weapon.
he can't be pocket, but
right.
special.
But he threw for almost 4,000 yards this year. Both of his receivers.
Remember
had
Dak
over
his first year as a
4,000
rookie?
yards.
I think Dak won his first 10 games. Remember, I think he was 10-1.
Yeah, they got home field advantage.
Yeah, and that's where I would say, that just
he went toe to toe with Brett Favre's rookie year. I mean, not Brett Favre, but Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. That's why I always say, shout out to Colts Cowboys. He's a Mailheads crew. Bang, there you go. He's going to come in and defend Dak, which is good. We need some Dak defenders. We're bashing the guy, but it is what it is. We're just tired of it.
Dak is a good quarterback.
I know.
Let Drew tell you right now. Dak is a good quarterback.
I know, but
trash.
It's very frustrating, man. As a Cowboys fan, we want to love and we want to support, but when you see again, you know how it is, Drew. Your fighting instinct is to defend, but every once in a while, you just got to take a step back.
As you should.
But again, in keeping it 100, you got to keep it 100.
Exactly.
It's like
you got to be real.
I don't like doing it because by doing this, Drew, it pisses a lot of people off. But again, I don't know what else to tell people. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
Listen, but Brian, I was a huge Carson Wentz fan, and if you ask me, I'll tell you. To me, just pure football talent, Carson Wentz is a better quarterback or has better football acumen than both Dak and Jalen Hurts. All day.
Something happened to him, man.
So why isn't he in the league, man?
All day, every day.
Something happened.
Let me just finish. Something happened. The guy is not mentally tough. Something happened when he hurt his leg and Nick Foles went on to win the Super Bowl without him. That did something to him where he couldn't bounce back. I'm just talking pure facts in terms of like football talent as a quarterback, arm strength, quarterback talent, Carson Wentz was better than both Dak and Hurts. But it didn't work out. It just didn't work.
Well, he was a number 2 or number what was it, second round,
2.
number 2.
There
Overall,
you go, Brad. There you go.
I just say here's my
Goff went
opinion,
1,
Drew.
and then he went.
And I mean, he was a good, decent quarterback. I just don't think he's ready for the big lights. I just don't. I mean, when he had a good year that year. They went to the Super Bowl, and I think that he's part of the reason they got in the Super Bowl because regular season until he got hurt.
Yeah.
No Wentz, no Super Bowl.
But
I mean, we were 11-1 in that.
No Wentz, no
season.
Super Bowl.
So we were already lining up to be the number 1 seed.
Yep.
But he got hurt, and after he got hurt, he just wasn't the same.
He couldn't stay healthy.
He
couldn't stay healthy. I mean, because even in the playoff game against Seattle, I think it was the year after we got rid of, or actually it was the year that when he came back from his injury, Clowney knocked him silly in that Seattle game, and he just couldn't stay healthy. Shot. Yeah. And,
right,
I mean, the guy just couldn't get right.
What's up, Cole?
Couldn't get right after that ACL.
He said, "I had enough of this Dak bashing." Hey, listen. I just want to say before Cole
Brian,
talks,
is it bashing if you're telling the truth? I'm sitting here telling you,
here's the deal,
in terms
Drew.
of throwing the football, Dak is better right now, which he should be going into year 9, than Hurts. But let's not sit here and diminish Jalen Hurts when Jalen Hurts threw for almost 4,000 yards. Both of his receivers, his top receivers, were over 1,000 yards. So they didn't throw the football to themselves, right? So going into his 4th year, of course Dak is better. But has he accomplished as much as Jalen Hurts in his 9-year career going into it? Absolutely not.
As
Absolutely
a player or as a team? Because we always like.
But see, we don't get. Are we going to have? We can't have our cake and eat it too. We can't have our cake and eat it too. When we want to defend Dak and say, "Oh, Dak is 9-4 against the Eagles."
Well,
nobody talked about that in years.
You know, Drew,
but the Wade's point. I mean, Wade's always said as well.
Nobody bringing up that record. Nobody cares about that.
I'll give you this.
You know why you don't bring up the record? Because you know it's the truth.
I'll give you this.
Hold on,
everybody.
Hold on. Dak and Jalen Hurts are in the same draft. I guarantee 32 out of the 32 teams are taking Dak before Jalen Hurts. Guaranteed.
Was Dak a Heisman
you know
runner-up?
why? Because you could build a team easier around Dak.
Was Dak a Heisman runner-up, Wade?
He wasn't a Heisman. He was. It ain't his fault the team sucks.
See the false narratives. Was
it ain't his fault the team
sucks.
But hey, to answer your question, Dak was in it. He was in the Heisman race.
College. NFL is different than college.
What round was Dak drafted, and what round was Jalen drafted?
NFL is different than college.
What round was Tom Brady drafted in?
False narratives.
It doesn't matter.
Drew's going to come in and bring you the real.
One at a time. We're starting to piss people off.
But when we talk about pedigree, I think Hurts would have been drafted first based off of coming out of Alabama and Oklahoma over Dak.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that
Mississippi State.
No. What I'm simply telling you right now, the body of work and the quarterbacks they are today, if they can go and they could draft Dak or Jalen, 32 teams are taking Dak Prescott.
And then
easier to build the offense around him.
He has a 5-year head start. He has a 5-year head start. And are you sure about that?
None of Dak's weapons in college got drafted.
Let Cole start.
I'm just saying. Y'all want to bring up college. None of his weapons in college got drafted. None of them.
He had nobody.
And they were ranked number 1 in the nation.
He didn't have a Mike Evans like, what's his name?
He did on his own.
Yeah. He had
no more excuses for that. More excuses for that.
The only reason
he didn't have an extra water boy like
I'm saying his draft.
He didn't have Bobby Boucher.
He did.
I'll give you this, Drew. Y'all's front office is awesome.
Yeah.
If we had the front office that you guys had, we'd probably have about
organization is awesome.
Now, I'm gonna keep it 100% real.
If
our front office was as aggressive as y'all's front office was, we'd probably have 3 Super Bowls right now. I'll 100%.
You have at least one.
But our front office is so stubborn, and that's the problem with our team. Is our front office, Catboy, Jerry Jones? They're stubborn old men. They're cuckoo.
I agree.
We had a front office
You
that
won't get
y'all
no pushback
had.
from me.
I
Brad's
guarantee
coming
you,
in.
we
Watch
would have
out.
about 3 Super Bowls right now.
Well, the
Wow,
Eagles
fuck.
aren't the gold. Well, the Eagles aren't the gold standard. We'll just put it like that. They're not the
We're
gold
not.
standard.
We're
Well,
not.
at least
I don't disagree
well,
with you there.
I would say the last
we're
team
not
to
the
be in
gold
the
standard.
Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl would be the gold standard.
How many
What team is
playmakers
that?
do you
What
have
team is
for
that, Wade?
weapons?
What team is that, Wade?
The Kansas City
Oh, wait.
Chiefs.
Chiefs. I would say the Chiefs.
Yeah, within our division.
I think if our front office was
Bro,
stubborn,
the only
we would've
reason the
beat
Eagles got a
Chiefs.
Super Bowl, they're 1-3 in the Super
See, I
Bowl.
can't
And
get
the
a
We
only
would
straight
have
reason
beat
they
answer.
the
won it,
Chiefs.
We gotta go. We
Front
gotta
office
go.
wasn't
Dude,
stubborn.
talking about?
One at a time.
Philly special. That's the only reason
Wait,
you got one ring.
which team was the
Philly
last to go to the Super
special.
Bowl and the last to win the Super Bowl within our division?
No,
Plus, the
it's
other
just
Oh,
team
when
wait.
didn't
we
play
go
their
to
best
the
player.
Super Bowl, when we go to the Super Bowl, we dominate the people we play in the
You
Super
don't
Bowl.
go to Super Bowls. Y'all can't even win in playoffs.
Go to
You
Super
can't win in
Bowl.
playoffs. You 2-5
Because
in
our
the last
stubborn
2 years.
front office.
What are you talking
One at a
about?
time. We're losing people. Please, please, please. This is the problem. We can't be yelling over each other. One at a time. Coles, go ahead, bro. I need something.
Hey, I'm not going. Like, we can have good,
I don't mind having a
have
talk.
good
but we're-
conversations in here. You
But
know what I'm
we
saying?
have a Zoom
Respectful
call.
conversation.
But we're gonna keep it fair. Let's
But you
keep it
gotta
fair.
have one at a time.
I'll keep it fair.
That's all I'm saying. Listen, again, I'm wearing a Dak shirt, so I'm showing I'm showing it, literally showing my, I'm showing it. I'm just saying that they can't hear properly when we have a bunch of people. That's all I was saying.
Look,
but
Jalen's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah,
but he's
again,
got 3
Drew, you
receivers
brought up
really
Jalen
good to
versus
throw to.
Dak.
Thank
Now,
you. That's all I'm saying. Let's be respectful.
He is a
Let's be
good
honest.
quarterback.
Drew,
but
you
he's
brought up
still
Jalen
young
versus
enough.
Dak. We didn't even bring up Jalen. That was the
He's
thing.
still young enough where he's going to have to
pulled
learn
us
to be
in
a
there
pocket
again.
passer and learn how to hit his second and third read. Once he learns
Hey,
how to do
Alina.
that, with the weapons you guys got,
Mastermind.
yeah.
Order
Yeah.
the court, right?
And he's accomplished a lot
I
in his
actually was
4
given-
years. He has.
Now,
You're
I did
asking,
hear.
has he done more than Dak? Well, considering that
I was actually-
in a way.
I know you
But-
were. I know you were.
You
I was
know,
actually giving Dak
Neither
some
one
props.
has a ring,
I
so who
wasn't- I
cares?
wasn't jumping.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's true. But
I know.
context
But-
matters. Like, it's just funny how Dak is judged differently than other quarterbacks when it comes to playoffs, because we seen Dak have great playoff games. We forget about how he took out Russell Wilson when he was in his prime in the playoffs. He won his first playoff game then. Then we went to LA. That wasn't on Dak. Dak played good against the Rams in 2018. We just couldn't stop the run. So a lot of people don't talk about that when they talk about, Dak's playoff record. Like, it can go hand in hand. I believe
know, Lou.
the last 2 San Fran playoff games, the first one when we had them at home, it was a lot going on, and a lot had to do with Kellen Moore's play calling in that game.
Second one's
But-
all on Dak.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let me just say this real quick.
but
we
when we went to
don't
San
get
Fran,
the
that's on
same.
Dak.
We don't get the same perspective when it comes to Jalen or Dak. Like you just said, he beat Wilson, Russell in his prime. He didn't play so well. We seem to make excuses, but when we talk about
It's a defense mechanism, Drew.
that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying is let's be all the way honest. Like, I get it. Everybody here is emotionally
You want
invested
honesty?
in their
Neither
team.
one has a ring.
Hold-
So who
Can I-
cares?
let me finish, Brad. Brad, how are you doing, brother? It's good to see you, man. Good to see
Listening
you, bro.
to your
But
nonsense.
I'm saying is I know we're all equally vested in our teams, but let's be honest. Am I your enemy because I'm telling you the truth? I'm just giving
No,
facts.
no,
I'm not
no.
trying to come in.
But you
never
love
said
bringing
Dak was
up
I'm just
the-
adding
you
context.
Dak was
love bringing
trash.
up the
I'm just
Never
adding
said that.
context.
But let's give Jalen the same. Let's give him the same respect.
listen.
He beat San Fran, but the quarterback was hurt. Like, come on, is it a team or is it not a team? If it's
Listen,
going
No,
to be a team,
that's not
it's a
on.
team.
That's not on Jalen Hurts that Brock Purdy got hurt and they didn't have.
Okay, and the same thing with the Giants. Oh, you beat a terrible
Yeah.
Giants team. Like, no, you beat the team that was in the playoffs.
I'm not gonna give y'all credit for beating the Giants.
Here's the deal.
Hey, see,
Drew.
you just
Here's
proved
the
my
deal.
point. You just proved my point.
Hey, Drew,
You just
I
proved
just
my
want to.
there.
But y'all should
Order
beat
the
the
court.
Giants.
Let me
See, I
get
wish
in
we
there.
had- I wish we had the Giants in the divisional round. Oh my! I wish we.
I want to
Why
respond
can't
to
we be
Drew.
blessed for something like that?
It's a double standard, man.
All I was
No,
saying, Drew.
yeah.
Let me finish. All I was saying
Okay,
is
my bad.
here. No, you're good. But here's my thing. I always give Jalen every flower he deserves. But when you say, well, he has all this playoff success. I just want to let people know that it was a 1 year, 2 week period where he won 2 games. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking anything away, but when you say, well, Dak, listen, again, Dak has won 2 playoff games, 1 on the road, which is not easy. Jalen won 2 home playoff games, 1 against the Giants, which we haven't lost to the Giants in years. So I would love that game. Now, we would probably have choked in. We probably would not have beaten the Niners like you guys did. So, and that was a hell of a defensive battle that Jalen did not screw it up, and that was a hell of a game. I'm not going to take nothing away from Jalen, but I just want to couch it by saying it's not like you went on the road and had a gauntlet. You had a nice everything worked out.
That's what the regular season is for. If you're the number one seed,
we blew it.
Come on, let's
we
be
blew it.
We
had home
thank
field.
you. So don't discredit us because we were the number one seed.
No, but when you throw
I'm not saying you. I'm just speaking in general.
No, but I know. But when you throw Jalen out there like he did it, no, your team dominated all year.
Y'all were loaded that year.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Jalen was on cruise control against the Giants. He didn't.
Y'all was loaded that year. Y'all went away. Don't give him credit.
Your organization. What happened in 2019 when Dak was loaded and went into Philly?
We had Jason Garrett
and scored 19 points.
Y'all go see what Jason Garrett what we experienced.
He's
good. He might deceive y'all in regular season. But come the playoffs, wait till the playoffs. You're gonna find out what Jason Garrett's about.
For Dak.
Jason Garrett is a bum.
In that game?
That's not have nothing to do with that.
Who was Carson Wentz's receiver? Do you even remember? I don't.
For which ones? For which game?
Yeah, they didn't have any receivers.
When Dak went into Philly for the division. Winner take all for the division.
Oh yeah, that was.
Who did Carson Wentz have as wide receivers?
That's when they had guys coming from
We
Canada.
had like 4 fifth stringers. It was Travis.
They had Canadian football players coming.
Yeah,
in.
I remember liking
y'all there. Dak had Cooper. You had Cobb. You had Whitman. You had Zeke. You had all these weapons.
No, I agree.
He scored 19 points.
Our team gave up on them.
But we didn't have the offensive coordinator.
It's like,
slow it down, people.
He had Jason. He had the Clapper as a coach. I'm not making any excuses for my team.
No,
last year, the last 10 games, we were ass.
I'll agree with you, Drew. I'll agree with you, Drew. I've told Mark repeatedly, Dak has had some damn good weapons.
You have said that way. You have.
Listen,
Dak has had some loaded teams. Let's be honest.
I wouldn't say loaded as the Eagles
Not
had, but close, very close. Like this year.
Well, back then our defense wasn't that good.
Dak's
I will say, I don't think our defense has been anywhere near as good as the Eagles' defense that won the Super Bowl. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
Hold on. Yeah. Dak's never had an offense like the Eagles have this year. Never.
Okay, but we don't even know what this year's defense. We don't even know what this team will look like.
I mean,
I don't even know what this offense is going to be.
You had Amari Cooper. You don't think you were loaded that year?
No.
I mean, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, in prime, Ezekiel Elliott. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, it is solid. That's what I'm saying.
Jason
Randall Cobb.
We can't bring in
and Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup was on that team too. Wasn't Michael Gallup on that team?
Michael Gallup was on the team too.
We're talking about
2019. Yeah, I mean, he was emerging. He was emerging in 2019.
I would think most people would think you got 2 number 1 receivers. You got a top 5, a tight end, which our tight end was on way down. Jason Witten was on the downside. Your offensive line was better. Tyron Smith was still, he hadn't. Maybe he was good, but we hadn't had. I would say that the Eagles' offense this year is as most talented as offense as that there's been in a long time. Now, I'm not saying we weren't talented. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not setting up anything. I'm going to probably pick you guys to win the division. The jury's still out on this team, though.
The jury's still out. We don't know what's going to. The jury's still out on this offense. It still has to come together.
I know. Like we know that. I'm just talking talent. West Virginia Country Boy says Witten was washed. Yeah, he was big time washed. Again, I get it, Drew. I'm not trying to set up nothing. We don't know what the Eagles offense is going to turn into. We're just talking pure talent. I would take the Eagles offensive talent up against, now with Saquon, San Francisco 49ers, which is unbelievably talented. Now, just an honest, they're very, very close if you go player for player. I think the Eagles had the advantage on the offensive line. I think the Eagles have a better offensive line than San Fran.
Yeah, they do.
So
They do.
that's
I'd
all
agree
I'm
with you.
saying. So we'll see, man. It's going to be exciting. I know that. I'm looking forward to camp. I'm not trying to rush everybody. I'm just saying,
Dude, I am.
Everyone says Jason Witten was washed. Hey, that man still got open and caught passes.
he
That's
did.
all
He
I'm
did.
saying.
He
But
wasn't. I ain't gonna say he was
wasn't
washed. He's
top
just so
5 in the
slow,
league. That's
man.
all.
He was the slowest guy that can get open, man. It was just crazy.
That Y option.
Sure-handed.
But you know what? He was an all-around good tight end. The man could block. He could pass block and run block. I mean, that's what you want from your tight end.
No disrespect.
Good route
Hall
of Famer.
Remember that game against
Hall
Philly
of
where
Famer.
we knocked his helmet off and the
I
dude
know
kept
that.
running for another
That
like
was
50
before
yards.
that, though. Wasn't
Tough
it?
as hell.
Even
I'm
when
just saying, though, I'm
even
just
when
saying
he
his
was
prime.
older,
When
even
he
when he
was
was
trash.
older, he could still pass block and run block still.
Yeah, he could. He
Oh
could.
yeah.
So much so,
Tough
Wade,
as nuts.
that Mark's boy.
I mean, Ezekiel Elliott was
who was the
beasting in
tight end?
2016.
Who was the
Oh, yeah.
basketball player that we had on our team?
Oh, Rico Gathers.
Yeah, Rico was
Rico,
pissed
yeah.
off, and then Martellus Bennett got all butthurt that that he wasn't getting the ball. I'm like, listen, we got Jason Witten, bro. I mean,
But
that's just,
they were force feeding Jason Witten, though.
I mean, damn,
They were.
Jason
Dez
Witten
Bryant
never
got mad
They
about
were.
that. Man. Dez was
Jason-
mad about
well,
that.
that was
Jason Witten
Romo.
never got hurt neither.
Yep.
Romo was just like, yo, that's my boy, right down the middle.
Yep, that's what it was.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
saying,
Guys,
what
I
more
gotta,
jealous,
I gotta
man.
get back. I
All
gotta
right,
get
Drew.
back.
Thanks for
Bryant,
stopping
bro.
by, man. I
Hey,
appreciate it.
listen, respect.
All right,
Hey,
Drew.
Brad, real quick before I go.
Easy.
Brad, I love you, bro.
Oh, look at that.
Nothing
Come on, Brad.
personal.
Come on, Brad. Give me something.
Okay. I love for you, Brad. Seriously, bro.
Brad's like, fuck that.
Just stories. We just, just. I don't
Thanks,
hate
sir. I
you,
appreciate
bro.
that.
It's
Oh,
all
shit.
love, man. You're my imago Dei, bro. We
That
good.
will happen.
We good.
Look like
Sorry,
a white
me.
boy.
Communication.
I mean,
what?
Yeah,
hell,
we good. I just wanted to say that, bro. I don't fret. It's
Okay,
all
I like
love,
that.
man. Even though me and Wade got into it, man. Respect. It's all good.
I feel you. I
Peace,
feel
okay?
you. Respect. Yeah.
All
This
right,
is
man.
football, man. We
There you
all,
go, Brad.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's all
this is
football,
funny.
man.
It's
You know,
funny,
Uncle
man.
Drew just
We
Uncle Drew's
represent
just
our
gonna
teams,
come
that's
in,
all.
man. I'm that uncle that's just coming in and give you a noogie and give you a wedgie, but it's all love. I'm gonna give you $5 in the back. You know, we
It's
good.
just two passionate people about their teams. That's all.
There you go, man. It's
Drew,
all
don't
love,
be Drew,
bro.
don't be hiding though when we hand you that L, man. I
No,
always
hey, man, Drew don't never hide, man.
I've
I'm
invested
right
a
here.
lot
I'm
of
from
money
Philly,
in
bro.
Dallas.
I'm from Philly. I'm right here, bro. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
All right,
man.
respect, guys. Respect.
see ya.
Go Birds.
Go
I
Birds.
got one for that.
Hey, and you know what? Hey, all I'm saying is, Jay, if people say what they want to, oh man, he was over the hill. Dude, what more could you want from your tight end? He could pass block,
No,
he
I
could run
know.
block.
I'm
He
trying to.
never got hurt.
up, Twiz?
And the man
Starter
literally
gravy?
caught every ball thrown to him.
Real quick, before we go any further, we are sitting at $39. So we are 69. We're like $36 away from a giveaway. So just saying that. We're gonna be doing a lot of live streams going forward. Coles, what's been going on with you, bro? I know
Yeah, I've
you've been
been
off the
working,
grid,
bro.
man.
Yeah, I've been chilling, man. I'm about to pop right back up. I'm ready for
I'm like, what did I do, man? I was the last video you had. I'm like, what did I piss him off? What did I do,
Oh
man?
no, man. I've been
All right.
busy, man.
Oh, don't you got a birthday coming up too, Coles?
Yeah, man, on Monday.
Yeah, happy early
Nice,
birthday.
happy
Appreciate it.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate
Wade,
you.
I'm gonna have to reach out to you, bro. I'm gonna have to. I was telling Phil, man, I was figuring if we come down a couple days early, and stay at Frisco, you said you give us a ride to Arlington. We'll take you out. We'll hang out for the night, and take you for dinner if you do that. So,
Yeah, we can.
all right, cool. I'll reach out to you for that. But yeah, so getting back to the chat here.
I'll take you to a few water
There you
holes
go.
around here.
Yeah, that'd be fun, man. But I was telling Phil today, I was talking to him because he couldn't make it today. I'm like, Wade said he'd give us a ride. If you want to go a couple days early, we'll stay in Frisco.
Brian.
I
Yes.
got any games y'all gonna go to this
We're
year?
going to the Eagle game.
Oh, the
Hey, I'm
Eagles?
going to the
Okay.
Cleveland week 1 game.
No, but I'm going in in Dallas. I'm going to November 10th. But me and Phil, Mark's going to come up supposedly on the 8th. But me and Phil might get there a couple days earlier, which
I'm thinking about going to that.
Brian, what do you think?
I love it, man. I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you, man. Yeah, I got more stuff on the. I'm
That's dope.
working on a website. I got to get it together. It's very hard, man. I'm with my work schedule, but I have a lot of people say, "How can I get merch?" I'm like, "Well, you can Venmo me, but it's kind of wonky." I said, "I just give me a couple weeks. I'm working on it." But thanks, Brad. You're the man. You like your plaque, Brad?
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had it hanging over there, but I decided to give it away, man. I gave away
Yeah,
the.
it was well wrapped and everything. Bubble
Yeah.
wrapped, all works. You did a great
Yeah,
job.
well, you
Thank
know me. I work for the post office. I make sure shit goes out right. So I think I'm going to that game, Brian. West Virginia Country Boy. If you are, reach out to me on GameTimeBrian at gmail.com. We're going to have a meetup. Supposedly, this is early, but Dak's uncle is going to, he has a catering place. We're going to have some sort of tailgate for the game provided by Dak's uncle. But we're going to have a meetup. So I would love for as many people to hang out at the game. I know I just think it'll be a good time. So we're working on
Hey,
getting
Brian.
a group tickets, but we'll see about that.
Correct me if I'm wrong,
Get
but
that.
didn't who is it Mark talked to? Sills or whatever you call him?
Yeah, Dan Cilio.
Dan
He's
Cilio.
yeah.
Didn't he
University
say
of
he talks
Miami.
to Steven every year?
Yeah, he's going to. Yeah, they're going to training camp, and they're going to talk
I
to.
thought I
Stevenson.
heard it on one of Mark's videos that he was saying that he talks to Steven every year.
Yeah, he's very close friends with Stephen Jones. So when they go, stay tuned for Mark's
Well,
channel.
slap him up a little bit then.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I
Yes,
said.
I was thinking the same thing, Brad.
But you know how
You'd
that's
ask him
going to
stop being so cheap.
Yeah.
Very.
Man, it's so
Very
frustrating, man. So frustrating. I don't know if
See,
anybody's...
Steven's ideology is, well, you got to overpay for free agents. It's like, well, Steven, if the free agents like can change your team
Yes.
like exponentially, what's wrong with overpaying for another Dion or another Charles? What's
Wait, do
wrong
you
with
remember-
signing those impact players that can help your team?
What was Steven's role when we actually won a Super Bowl? Do you know? Was he in the organization, do you think?
He was, but I don't think he didn't have no control. His dad was in.
But you
full,
remember
complete
like the
control.
story that we hear when Jerry signed Dion, that he threw his dad up against the wall all
Yeah,
pissed
I
off.
He was
heard
still
that,
doing
yeah,
the numbers. He was grooming to do the numbers. I remember watching Hard Knocks. I think it was like the second time.
I
the
love
Cowboys
that show,
Hard
man.
Knocks. Yeah,
And
like
see, and
we
Jerry-
when we drafted Julius
The running back.
Julius Jones.
and I
Julius
remember
Jones.
like
Julius Jones.
yeah, dude was holding out. He was like, man, like you gotta get these numbers together. And Stephen Jones was sweating bullets trying to get the right numbers for him so he can come to training camp. Like this has been going on since then.
Yeah.
Like he's cheap, man. I'm like, you can't sign a rookie running back. You can't get the numbers.
Yeah, the rookie deal. You know, those some red flags there.
That's the thing is when Jerry bought the teams, Jimmy Johnson was in full control of every player personnel decision because Jerry was too busy paying off debts and all the money he owed. So Jerry had nothing to do with building that team in the beginning. And then when he paid off all of his debts, he
Oh, we lost him. You went muted. There you go.
wanted to be more involved. And we all know how that went.
Yeah, started getting in his own way.
Oh, man. All right, I'm going to go around the horn here. We'll start with Wade, man. I did this last week. All right, now we're a week away. You're hearing chatters about we're bringing in players for workouts. Michael Thomas, Justin Simmons. Now we're rumored to be talking to T. Higgins' agent. Don't you think that's all just bullshit to get to CeeDee Lamb and his agent? Do you think that's all bullshit, or do you think we're going to bring somebody in, Wade?
We may bring in someone. I mean, but it's going to be for like veteran minimum.
Then it won't be T. Higgins.
Nope.
So
More Michael Thomas right there.
yeah, I don't know that we need Michael Thomas, Rob. I
agree.
I don't think we need him. How are you going to say you're a hell of a drafting team and never let your guys actually play? Unless they know something we don't. That's the thing. I'm not there, so.
I
It's just a name. You're just signing a name at that point. I mean, if you bring in Michael Thomas.
Oh, FYI, I reached out to Mike Fisher, so Don't tell Mark, but I might have him on the show. So if I get Mike Fisher, it could get ugly.
And hold on. And if you do have Mike Fisher,
That is what I want y'all to do.
if you do have Mike Fisher, Brian, ask him about the Cowboys' 2-year plan. He'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I know what he says.
You know, I love Mark, but it's just like, bro, I believe Mike Fisher. I mean, he's pretty knowledgeable.
Yeah, it's bullshit, right? West Virginia. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean,
I love Jalen Brooks, Angry Cowboy fan. Shout out to Angry Cowboy fan. We're gonna be doing something probably next week. I did email you, bro. We're gonna do a live stream with Angry Cowboy. I like everything he's always saying.
yeah,
It
Angry
seems like
Cowboy.
he always seems like he hits it on the head. Like I emailed him. I'm like, dude, every time you say something, it makes sense. Now we may disagree, which is fine, but it seems like he's hitting them points that maybe not everybody sees. So I appreciate him. Dirty Sanchez, what's up, my man? Lou Branch, dudes want longer than 1 year deals. I get it, Lou. That's the problem. You know what? This team, Wade and everybody, it seems like this team is acting like they're trying to hoard cash. That's just, I don't know, like you're getting I know they're not selling the Cowboys, but everything they're doing is like when a team is getting ready to sell, right? You don't sign anybody, you don't extend any big contracts, and then you sell the team. It's like, what are they doing? But Wade says they're just going all in and making them earn it. Rob, what do you think, man? What do you think going in a week out? You could talk about Dallas and then go ahead and talk about your birds. What are you expecting, man? Mark
Yeah. As far as the Cowboys, I'm interested to see exactly what's going on with this whole Michael Thomas and T. Higgins. I think it's just to put some pressure on CD, really. As far as the whole T. Higgins thing, bargain shopping, I could see Michael Thomas getting signed. Simmons, I don't know if you can afford him or if he's just going to take a team friendly like a league minimum kind of deal because he was an All Pro. As far as the birds, just want to see how we gel in training camp on offense. See if Hurts could wrap his head around another coordinator's playbook and see what happens.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Jerry said, Angry Cowboy fans, that Jerry said we're going all in. He meant the players are going to have to be all in this year. I wish he would have spelled that out, Angry, because he really got everybody up in a tizzy when he did that. You know what I mean? He really did. So that's
it's like Mark Holmes said. Jerry Jones is like the jackrabbit. He's the one when people talk, they want to go over and hear what he has to say. But Stephen Jones is the one doing the business.
Thanks, West Virginia.
And that's true.
I appreciate you, my man.
That's true. Jerry Jones just at this point in the game, he's just all talk. Stephen Jones is the one doing the contracts and all that and spending the money.
I don't listen to him.
Everybody seems to be loving what we're doing tonight. I think it's been a lively show. I really appreciate all the guys. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. But everybody, this has been awesome. This is what we need. We need Eagle fans. Yeah. We need, and I take pride in befriending decent Eagle people. Drew, as Brad saw, Drew's actually a very good guy. He's just very passionate. We could disagree, and he loves going into the Jalen versus Dak. I don't believe anybody brought that up tonight except Drew. So I appreciate Brad for being really cool tonight. Brad, everybody just Brad's the man, and he needs to be just take a breath, Brad. Everything's cool. Oh, look at Brad with the super chat, West Virginia. But yeah, keep it up, guys. We're not stopping right now. We got time. Let's roll, man. Let's just talk while I write these super chats.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
So Marcus Blackman Sr. says, what about Deion Sanders becoming a head coach?
Oh, no.
Marcus, I like Deion Sanders talks a good talk. I mean, but I mean, that was on when he was at Colorado, all the cameras on him. I'm just curious to see what is he really like when the cameras are off? I mean, all the energy he had, I'd love that. I'd love that energy. But
I can personally speak on that with him being at Jackson State. I've been, behind the scenes.
Rob.
And I mean, he was the same way.
Okay.
My thing about Dion being a coach, it cannot happen in Dallas. It can't. That's what Jerry wants. Because he's gonna bring all the swagger. It's gonna promote. It's all about, and that's what we don't. That's what we need to decrease a little bit as a fan base, which it won't happen because the Dallas Cowboys has already been implanted in us. But we don't need all that. That pivots to pressure. I think that all that pressure really gets to these players when it comes to playoff time. You know what I'm saying? We need less pressure on this team because I don't know if a lot of y'all caught this. Before that playoff game, I seen Dak Prescott before he went into the locker room to get dressed up, standing right on the field, just looking like he was praying to God. And I'm like,
thanks, Rob.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is it really in his head? Like stuff like we're human. So we just don't need that pressure on these guys. We got DeMarcus Lawrence out here talking about they were tired, they were gassed out. We don't need no Deion Sanders out here. We don't need no score, man.
Cole, man, I can attest to that, my man, because I'm actually here in Denver, so I go to the Bucs
local,
game.
man.
Troy Aikman wasn't praying; he was just going out and taking care of business.
It cracks me up.
Yeah.
Shedeur is the odds-on favorite to be the number 1 overall pick in next year's draft. I understand that it may not be, but right now, as we sit here, so in order to get Shedeur Sanders, listen, as bad as Wade could say, well, I think Wade will tell you we're probably at worst 8 or 9 wins. We're nowhere near the number 1 pick, so we would have to give up multiple. You probably have to trade Micah and then some. It's crazy to think that we're going to get Shedeur Sanders.
Shedeur don't need to be a Cowboy, and it won't be good for him.
Did you hear his 6-team list? That's a good.
They said that
he
claimed that wasn't true.
Yeah,
but let's be real. Let's be real now. Come on. But no, Shedeur don't need to be no Cowboy, and it's not good for him either because our fan base don't have patience. They're going to expect him.
I believe Cowboys are losing 2 or 3 of their top 5 players next year. You're probably right, Mark, bro. Unfortunately. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. I'm just getting to the super chat.
Yeah, man. But Shedeur can't come.
Neither can Dion. That's just you need to tone down the spotlight and
that's a good point.
They need to go to Seattle or something, man.
Mark Hudson, you're in, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was like, I cannot see that happening, man. That'll be exactly what Jerry Jones wants. People want that.
Yep. It's crazy, man. Very crazy.
I'll take Travis Hunter, though.
That's what I was just going to say that, too. I was just going to say that. I'm like, you know what? I would take Travis over.
Yeah, get him up here. We'll be fine.
I mean, that kid, playing both ways. And then I seen him get hurt against that in that CSU game.
When he got start a great.
That was just a bad hit, man. That
was bad. That was bad. And then that kid got some death threats and stuff on him.
Peppa's view. Stop.
Hunter,
no, Sanders will be a Cowboy.
Stepped up and said, hey, no, we don't need any of that. We're cool. He's reached out and apologized.
It was just too much going on. And that's that spotlight, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's that spotlight. But Travis Hunter can handle the pros better than Shedeur can. He's more mature.
Travis Hunter is the real deal. Yeah.
Travis Hunter's the real deal.
When
he was at Texas State, oh my gosh, he was lighting it up. He was lighting it up on both sides of the ball. I was like, we don't even deserve to have you here, man.
Shit. Drew says, Twiz, me and Brad are good. We are Switzerland. The angry Cowboy fan. Jerry Jones is too old to gamble on a new QB. The contract stuff is just a publicity stunt. My man is playing. I think here's the problem. I think Dak is playing poker, and I think Jerry and Steven are playing like what's that game where you go back and forth, reverse and shit? Uno. I think Jerry and Steven are playing Uno, and Dak's playing poker.
Yeah, Dak know he about to get paid. They play this game all the time. He can get paid, man.
I think they're thinking we got all these contracts coming up. We got to clear up the cap, but they're also thinking about that loss against Green Bay. They know Dak's contract's coming, and they're saying to themselves, we're going on year 9. Do we give this guy $60 million a year? We hadn't even been to an NFC championship. What do we do? I guarantee they're asking themselves that question. Where do we go from here? Do we give this guy $60 million a year? What do we do?
Yeah, Wade. I met. That was my sentiment earlier as well, man. It's just that. Like, damn, over 8 freaking seasons, we've tried to build a team around this guy, and he just can't get over the hump. Like,
And that,
is it just
yeah,
time to
and if
move
I'm in the
on?
franchise, I'm looking at that. I'm sitting down and I'm talking, and it's like, dude, if we pay this guy 60 million a year, we're anchored down with him for at least another 4 years.
It depends on what the years is. I mean, you definitely want to stretch out the years and probably make some end of the years voidable. They'll just have to really just make a whole new contract for him and just be able to see if he can stretch it.
And they can't do another no trade clause bullshit
They
either.
can't do that. Yeah, they can't. They're not able to do that. But who knows? They might. If you're doing a whole new contract, they might be able to. If that might be like, you know what, you can keep the trade clause on there. I've done my time in Dallas. You never know.
Do you all of again? I'm the Eagle coming into a Cowboy chat. So my question to all of you is: do you think Dak wants to stay?
He a Cowboys fan.
Only he can answer that, man.
He a Cowboy.
I think he does.
He wants.
I think he does.
Mark Hudson, real quick. Deion Sanders don't have the mindset to coach in the NFL. A coach, I agree. But anyway, go ahead. Thanks, Mark Hudson.
I think he loves being
his brother. His own brother said, "Shoot, if it was up to me, he'll be. I would want him to get out of there, but he don't want to go."
Yeah, that's true.
I think Dak wants to play in Dallas. I really do. I think he wants to be a Cowboy.
I mean, look what
his whole career.
All the perks, and he handles the media very.
He handles it great. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
I just don't know if he internalizes some of the shit that's been talked about it coming from, CD's mom, Micah's brother, stuff like that. It's just like, damn,
West
if I'm not going to be
Virginia?
respected, embraced here, I need to just leave and get a fresh start.
Micah's brother reacted off of emotions as a fan.
Sure.
But
I'm sure
me and him, we talk on Twitter back and forth. Shoot, he's just as big as a Dak supporter as me. He going hard for him. I'm like, hey, I be joking. I'm like, hey man, just because they blast you on TV, you got to keep on going.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think Dak wants to stay, but he's really getting sick of the Muppets and their ways with all this contract crap, and not doing anything.
If that's the case too.
That's where I'm at with the whole thing with Dak. My main thing with Dak is I really wish he would stand up and come out. Listen, I know this is some people, Kid Cowboy, you're going to hate it, but if they were to re-sign Dak, I think at that point he has all the leverage. Where's he going? Say, come on now, boys, what are we doing here? You guys want to win, but yet, I get it. The 1 year we had, I'm not going to lie, we had a lot of talent the 1 year, but for whatever reason, we weren't ready to win. It takes a lot. Even when it takes luck some years. Some years it takes luck, and I'm not meaning this in a bad way, if you're still listening. Sometimes you need to get a Giants at home, and get some, something going, because the Giants, I think Dak is what? What's Dak's record against the Giants? I don't know if he's ever lost against the Giants.
He lost to them 2 times, and that's it.
Because Dak is 32-8.
His rookie year. His rookie year.
Okay.
That's it.
But I mean, you know what I mean? So a lot. There you go. There he is. I agree. Dak needs to be more vocal with the organization. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
If I was Dak and I was a diehard Cowboys fan and I was the franchise quarterback for the Cowboys, I would be all up in Jerry's office, pounding my
What's
table.
he going to do?
He has nothing to lose. He has nothing to lose.
That's where I think he's been the company man a little bit too much.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be no company man. I'd have
especially when they're making him play for his life every contract.
Dude, they would not like me. I would have Jerry and Steven in a room. I'd be like, I brought 2 24 packs. We're sitting down. We're talking about this shit. We're talking about this.
I brought a box of 7-Eleven wine. You ain't going nowhere.
Oh yeah, we're talking today. We're gonna be arguing. We're gonna be arguing tonight. Like,
yeah, just tell the baby mamas we're not coming home anytime soon. That's another story. Exactly.
Right?
Way put boots to Jerry's old ass.
I'd tell Jerry and Steven straight up. You either do what I need you to do. I'll sit out the whole damn year.
That's crazy, man. Absolutely.
I know
man.
I would if I, there's, you going to leave all that money on the table? I got $69 million guaranteed coming my way. I'm not worried about money.
Unfortunately, with the new bargaining agreement, if you sit out a year,
Probably,
you don't
Kid
get
Cowboy.
credit for that year. So
No, but
that's
you do get the guaranteed money though.
What's that?
that if he sits out for the year, he doesn't get credit for that year.
No,
so,
you're right. You're right. And he loses a game check. He won't do that. But again, he should have opened his mouth 8 months ago. Like soon as the year ended, say, "Yeah, I need to get paid." He needs to do. Listen, I know people get pissed at this. He needs to do what Zach Martin did and do a stay in. Start out of camp and tweak something and say, you know what? I'm tweaked. I heard it on the job. I'm going to sit out until I get
here's
paid.
the thing. It's too late now, Brian. We're already all the way through the off season already in free agency.
Yeah, that's true.
Like now we've made our bed. This is our team, guys, for this year.
But what he can do is press it while he's saying, hey, listen, you get me some talent in here or trade me. I'll lift my no trade clause. Just get me out of here now. And, then you're going to end up regretting me being gone once you, go 500 or even worse. He can't do that.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate you for the East Side. East Side's being nice to Angry Cowboy. Nice.
I mean, damn, pull a Tom Brady. Tell the team what you need, bring it in. The Cowboys, we ain't never going to do nothing until we get that defense right. Defensive line of linebackers.
We're going to do nothing until
FYI,
we're decent
Biden's
on all
got
phases of
COVID,
the ball for
supposedly.
once in the playoffs.
Yeah, he does.
Biden's got
Have some
COVID.
continuity. We ain't got that continuity and discipline.
Is there even a thing called COVID? Yeah, I know. It's the flu now, people. I've had COVID 4 times. It's the flu. It's the new flu.
Once for 3.5 months and almost died.
5 playoff losses, defense average 30 plus given up. Dak's fault. I know, Peppus. Everybody's got an opinion. It is what it is. Lose link. Yes. Like I said, angry Cowboy fan is going to be. Me and him are going to get together sometime. I emailed him for Tuesday. Maybe we'll do a Tuesday night live stream with Angry Cowboy, and then we'll do our Wednesday Zoom call. But my wife's going to come up here and do a pick out of a hat. So as soon as she gets up after she just sat down.
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
Like in one of your videos, you said something about we start on Thursday, not Wednesday next week.
Yes, because the players have a bye.
Oh.
So they report they'll probably have their opening press conference probably on Wednesday, but their actual first practice won't be until Thursday. So it is what it is. We're only a week away at this point. We are really, I didn't get a drum roll, so no, that's Chris May right now doing a drum roll. Oh, okay. So she's doing it. So
I mean, we're just it's all the waiting game now.
Yeah.
It's coming up fast.
Yep. Just to let you know, we got $102. So minus the 75, we got $27 carried over till the next live stream. So she's mixing them good. So 27.
Well, I'm gonna jump off here, y'all. But
yeah, we're gonna stop it as soon as you let me draw this. Let me see who's the winner. The winner is Wade Walker. Look at that.
Oh, snap, Wade. Okay, there you go. Congrats, bro.
So
give him that belt behind you, that WWE belt.
No. You ain't get that's my kids.
I got the heavyweight belt.
That. So
nice.
Wade, I'll text you all. I got all the hats. I got the navy that I'm wearing. Here, Tina, grab me all those hats over there. I don't have any plaques left. I do got a Dak bobble. I know Wade wants a Dak bobble. I got a Jalen Hurts bobble.
I'd rather have a Danny White bobblehead.
Yeah,
Rob, I got a question for you.
Hey, Wade, look what I got right here. It's Troy Aikman bobblehead.
Heck yeah.
I got this, Wade. I got the royal blue Game Time Brian.
Nice.
It's all embroidered. I got the gray with the kind of like teal script. I got the navy Game Time Brian. So for right now, I think. Oh, and I got the Emmett Smith book, still sealed. Emmett Run with Glory. So let me know.
I'll take that.
You want the book? All right, bro. Just text me your address and I'll get it out in the mail tomorrow when I go to work.
Sweet.
All right, cool. So, all right, everybody. So Wade's the winner. We got $27 carried over till next live stream. I appreciate everybody. Let me get to the chat real quick before we get out of here. Game time. I was trying to give Eastside Harold some props for supporting Cowboys content. Yeah, no, he's cool. Just he gets a little lippy when it comes to his Texans. But yeah, he's, you know, we keep him a check. But in the end, he's family, so I appreciate him. Mark Hutchin, the NFL will put money from the salary cap to pay for NFL tickets somewhere. So, yeah, Mark Hutchin, that'll be interesting. I heard they're going to be giving a little bit of rebates, so I'm holding off a little bit. You know, I'm going to have to get it. Angry Cowboy, have a great night, Cowboys Nation. Yes, I'll give Angry Cowboy, I emailed you. Get back to me. Let me know if that works out for you. Everybody, that's it for us. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I will talk to everybody later. Peace out, everybody. Bye.
Great show, fam. Have a good night.
Hey, man. What? I'm cool. This is me. We're going to jump on that spaceship and get out of here. Let's go.
No judgment. Shoot.
To smash that subscribe button. You know what? I'm going to give it, I'll give it 4 out of 5 avocados. Korg?
I was raised by avocados.
Oh, my God. Just kill me now.
Ho, ho, ho.
Green Giant.
Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
I think it's going really well. I know. I mean, this is literally the first time I took my gun out of the holster. Right.
And that is why we need a triumphant video.
What? You guys led us to this. Thank you.
You know what? I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving.